Most Revered Swami Suhitanandaji Maharaj, Vice President of the Ramakrishna Math Mission, and also Swami Sarananda, visiting our sacred place. Firstly, I apologize for fitting you all into a box, but I hope you accept my apologies, but it's very good to see you all here. It is pretty hot, so if the windows are fully open, that's good. All right. So, originally this was supposed to be an opening, but the only thing that's open at the moment are the windows. But the idea was that by now we would have purchased a piece of a property, and that there would be a cutting of the ribbon and so on. Last time I spoke to the General Secretary Maharaj, he said that he's asked the Vice President here if there was a building that he could open it. We don't have the building. So this is a very special occasion, however, not only because the revered Swami is here, but also because it's the 4th of July, which is the anniversary of Swami Vivekananda's Mahasamadhi. Not to mention, of course, American independence. So for us, this will be always a sacred a sacred day, and a sacred moment, and in that sense, a kind of opening, new beginnings for us. Just to brief you, we have located a building in Malhadut, and you'll be happy to know that if you sit in there, you won't feel hot, because we can accommodate probably about 100 people. We expect to hear a phone call this evening about a price, but it looks as if we are pretty sure the building is ours. So that's the first bit of news I need to tell you. How did we get here? I was just talking inside how we got here. We started off with small rooms, and some of you were hosts for us for small meetings in your lounge. And then we had Paddy, who had his garage, and we met in his garage. Then ultimately we were given a premises, a hall really, but we were there for many years, and then of course the owner had to sell that. So we eventually sourced this tiny place here, and now, as you can see, we're ready for great expansion. So how did we get here? There's only one way we got here, and that is from the grace of Sri Thakur, Holy Mother, and Swami Vivekananda. That's how we got here. And I think we always have to be mindful of that. There are great milestones on the way. One of our milestones was meeting Anita and Siddhartha Sen. And I have to say, what a brilliant job last night. Thank you. And where is Anita? Oh, you're right. Okay, somehow got separated. Sorry. Because unbeknown to us, they also had some small group going, mostly Bengalis, and we managed to make friends with them, they managed to make friends with us, and here we are. Another milestone was we made friends with people in Dungannon, birthplace of Sister Nivedita, and you will see tomorrow how we made friends there, and how we have the start of a movement there. So with all of that going on, part of the history was that we, from the very start, put in on our constitution that if the Ramakrishna Math Mission wanted to take us over, they could do so. And so, but the timing has never really been truly correct until probably now. And so we're very happy to see the momentum that has occurred. And the momentum took a surge forward even in December, when I met with Maharaj, who was the General Secretary at that point, and met with the other assistant secretaries. And I told them of our beautiful long-term plan, and quite wisely they said, no, rather find a place that a small residential place, save the rent from here, and rather pay for that. So that was our move. That gave us a green light, really, for an affiliated center to come. And so we are optimistic that we will develop in this way. There's a lot of work to do, and we have to do it with really the only way that we could and should do it is through the massive giant of the Ramakrishna Mission. But we have some more water here. So welcome to the Significant Day, and it's so hot that I'm not going to go on and on and on, but just to give you that briefing, just in terms of where we are now waiting for an agreement on a purchase price, and then the legal machinery will go into place for legal contracts to be in place and so on. So I welcome you all. I welcome the representative of the Indian Embassy and all the honored guests. We will start really with a song, and then we'll do the arti that Swami Dr. Sarananda has agreed to do for us. So actually we will start with, I know you said it's too long. Yeah.
Is it alright? We'll do it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what we do, we do 4 verses only.
4 verses only?
Yeah, all right?
4 verses only. We'll do another song then. 4 verses only. No, we'll do a different song because it's hard to stop after doing 4 verses.
That's okay.
Yeah, we'll do another.
The Ananta Rupini. There are books out here also.
Okay.
All of us, but you can start the song.
Oh, okay.
Are you all ready? Ananta Rupini, right.
Ananta Rupini, Ananta Gunavati, Ananta Nami Videma. Ananta Rupini, Ananta Gunavati, Ananta Nami Videma. Shiva Nano.
I am in the light is in me, I am the light.
I am in
gentle sound. Actually, if we sing or not,
if you can-
they'll assist.
Oh, good. Because there's a whole little.
Which one is it? Shall I which song?
Sri Sarda Devi Stotram.
Stotram, Sharon Devi Stotram. Yeah.
Number 4.
Prakriti Paramam.
Looking for
Number 2.
Power ready to act. Shana
Jai Swami Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai Tadeva ki Jai. Jai Jesus Christus ki Jai. Ram Krishna Sharanam.
Krishna Sharanam, Rama Krishna Sharanam, Rama Krishna Sharanam, Sharanam Rama Krishna Sharanam, Rama Krishna Sharanam, Rama Krishna Sharanam, Sharanam Prabhu Kripahi Kevalam, Kripahi Kevalam, Kripahi Kevalam.
Jeff?
Yep.
Oh, sorry. What page?
Allah is inexpressive, Rama Krishna, the Krishna of my Rama Krishna. I am the poor shepherd, the poor shepherd boy, whose anklets on my feet, that I might dance for joy. Let me dance with my Krishna and hold his hand. My eternal companion of Vrindavan. Oh, can you not time nearly done. Alokachaya Krishna caresses me still. He calls me away now, away with him. I am coming, my Krishna, my time nearly spent. The poor shepherd boy is now heaven bent. I am coming, my Krishna, my time nearly done, to take my repose in the
So, most revered Swami Suhitanandaji, Vice President of Ramakrishna Multi Mission, is now going to talk. Spiritual practice in a busy world is a selection. We make something spiritual life in some way practical. So in this way, I'll ask Maharaj to.
On this holy and auspicious day, we are assembled here. Though the room is very small, but the purpose is very great. So small is not the small. It has got a large dimension. That means today's this small gathering is going to make an impact in this locality amongst the minds of the people. So it has got some big appeal. And second thing is, this day is associated with Swami Vivekananda, because he selected himself this day for his journey towards his own land, from where he came back. Those who have gone through his life or read the great master, they have seen that where from he was brought by Sri Ramakrishna. He was one of some celestial, the stars, doing deep meditation. Sri Ramakrishna, in the form of a baby, went and encircled him with his small little arm and appealed to him, please come down and help the world. I have a mission, I'm coming, and you also will have to come with me. And the sage, he had to respond to the appeal of the baby. So the sage came down, he did his acting, and afterwards, at the fag end of his time, he felt that the time has been propitious, that I should hand over my responsibility to my other juniors and those who are my colleagues, and I should retire to my own abode. Why? He himself mentioned that under a big tree, the small plants, they cannot grow. So I shall have to make room for the others to grow. So with that intention, he decided that I must leave this world stage. And he selected a date, everything predestined. It is not that by accident he died. He simply preferred that I should leave this world body. So he decided and selected this date, this 4th of July, and he left his mortal frame. On 3rd July, probably 3rd or 2nd, he invited Nivedita. You all know that Nivedita, she gave up her everything for the cause of Swami Vivekananda. The moment Vivekananda proposed that I have a mission, I have some project for the empowerment of the women, I want the support from some lioness. And she preferred Nivedita to be and just acted in this drama. And Nivedita, she also responded to it, and she took the risk of going to India. At that time, Nivedita was in England, and that London was in the zenith of its glory. From that time, that place and honor and dignity and security. She preferred to take the risk of trying something for which the country had no knowledge, no idea, and knowing well that there was the vast difference between the races and cultures and other so many factors. Knowing everything, she preferred that I must go. And she did as much as possible. She just like a servant, she just like a mother, just like the daughter, she served India. Now Swami Vivekananda, he one day called Nivedita to come and have her food with him. Nivedita came because she also had some problems to be discussed with Vivekananda about some project. So she came and she took her meal along with Swamiji. After this meal, this washing, hand wash. So hand washing, Swami Vivekananda was pouring water in the hands of Nivedita to wash. Nivedita said, how is it I should pour water on your hand? You should not do. You are my guru, master. I am your disciple. You should not do this thing. Then what was the reply from Swamiji? Swamiji said, did not Jesus do the same thing? That means Jesus also washed their hands of the disciples. Then immediately flashed before Nivedita that was in the last part of Jesus' life. And the same thing happened here also. So Nivedita got the message. On 5th morning, somebody carried a message from Swami Suhitanandaji that Vivekananda has entered into Mahasamadhi on 4th evening. On 2nd, there was so much of talk, discussion. There was no iota of any impact or impression that Swami Vivekananda is going to leave the world stage. But it has to. You can well understand the mental feeling of Nivedita. She immediately rushed to Belur. She could find that Swami Vivekananda is lying, and what to do? It was only the dead body. But still she felt that as if Swamiji is still living, and he started fanning this body in that way, continue. And anyhow, next day, that day in the afternoon, the body is to be immersed. It should be put into flames, because according to the Indian system, Hindu custom, the body is to be put into flame. The body was put into the flame, Nivedita downcast. She was simply watching the whole show. And suddenly, some idea flashed in her mind. Swamiji's body was covered with one chador, cotton chador it was. Nivedita felt that if I could get small piece of this cloth and carry this thing and give it as a presentation to MacLeod, she would be the happiest person, probably. Because MacLeod also would be very much aggrieved and very much pained when she would get the news. So at least as a token of memento, she can carry this piece of cloth from Swamiji's body. So just at that time while she was thinking, she could feel a pull in her sleep. There was somebody in this way. And immediately she could find a piece of cloth that came from the fire, came just through and fell just in front of her. She took it up and felt that this is the gift of Swamiji for MacLeod, and she presented it. So with this, all this background, here we are today assembled. So now you can see, visualize the purpose of this assembly. It is not a very small thing. It has got so much of background preparations are there. So it will have its impact also in the same way. Just as said, out of the fullness of the heart, the mouth speaketh. The same thing happened with Sri Ramakrishna also. Sri Ramakrishna, he practiced. After his practicing and his realization, when he came to the highest peak, at that time he was feeling that I have been blessed with so many higher thoughts. What to do with this thing? What to do? I must give this thought to the, must share with others. But who is the taker? Who is the deceiver? Nobody is there to understand my language. So what to do? If he goes on talking to Tom, Dick and Harry, they won't be able to understand anything. So he was crying from the root of the terrace, I am calling my disciples, I am calling my followers, you please come. And otherwise I am feeling just almost suffocated. That means how to whom to ventilate my teachings. That was his. So he gave a clarion call, and the people started coming before him. Generally, we find in what clarion call this Ramakrishna gave. That is the most important thing. In Swamiji's Jnana Yoga, one chapter has been devoted to the apparent man and the real man. Apparent man, that means this man who appears. As Swami Suhitanandaji, they are representing Ramakrishna Morton mission. You are so and so, doctor, engineer, professors, engineer, so many other designations. There is social existence. But the real man is that man which remains indoors. That when I am alone, bolted from inside, that is my real existence. That real man, where I am. To find out that real man, that is the purpose of human life. I would like to share with one incident. Leonardo da Vinci, all of you will have heard that he was beautiful sculpture. So he engraved a beautiful statue in a block of stone. His friend went and he said, "Oh, what a master stroke you have done. Masterpiece has been come up out of this block of stone." Then Leonardo said, no, I have not done anything. This statue was already within the stone. What I have done? I have simply removed the undesirable elements from that stone. And this appearance came out of it itself. The same thing, methodology, Sri Ramakrishna adopted in his own life. What he did, he just meticulously avoided all the wrong things and tried to only just stick on only to the real purpose of his life. As a result, he could bring a new thought and a new idea and as a result, a new dimension and new wave has come up. This is the thing. So that wave, what dimension he brought? During that time, generally, in the so-called this materialistic world and civilization, three ideas were very prominent. One was the Marxian theory, second was this Freudian theory, and the third was the Darwin's theory. These three things, then all intelligent persons, the cultured and civilized persons, they to swallow and then just with all gusto these three theories and philosophies. But Sri Ramakrishna, he revolted against these three. The first one, this Marxian theory, that means the mind, only this is the only power. So with that power, until unless you are having amassing wealth, you cannot rise up. So you will have to have this bread and butter and as much as possible. For that, you will have to push others out and go forward. This is the Marxian theory. About him, yesterday probably, I do not know, or any day, I mentioned about one interesting incident of Swami Suhitanandaji. He invited one professor of philosophy, and that professor of philosophy, he presented him a book, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Now that professor took that book, and after going through it, he again came back with the same book, and he wanted to give it back to Sarvagatananda Swami. Sarvagatananda Swami, he was in charge of the Boston Center. Sarvagatananda Swami, why? What for? Because after going through the book, I find it is full of trash. Every page, it is they give up woman and gold, woman and gold, woman and gold. If I give up woman and gold, then what for my life? I don't want to read it. So he gave it back. All right, what to do? He had to keep it. The same man again came after 1 month. Then said, how many copies do you have? Same book. He said, that Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna? Yes. How many? I have 30 copies. I want to purchase all the copies. Well, what for? Is it just to burn the book? No, not like. Recently I had a seminar. In that seminar, the chairman of the gathering, he declared that we Americans are after only two things, this sex queen and the dollar king. Immediately it flashed that the Indian mystic also talks in the same words. So I want to just give and spread the message of the Sri Ramakrishna there. Man cannot live by bread alone. So man needs higher pursuit. Man, without it, he has got no higher pursuit. A man cannot progress, a man cannot remain a man. He will go down to the level of the beast. So this is one thing Sri Ramakrishna demonstrated through his whole life, and not only he, his followers also demonstrated the same thing. Because Swamiji, before he started this organization, one day he wrote a letter to Hollywood. This gold and silver I fought. Gold and silver I fought. But I need a bit. Why? Why I need a bit? Because I have got a jewel. I have got a jewel. And I need a cascade to keep that jewel in. So for that I need a bit. So what is that? What is the jewel? The teaching, the life and teachings of Sri Ramakrishna. That is the jewel. And I want to keep it somewhere. Where to keep? That means for that I want to start an organization. That organization will be the custodian of that message of Sri Ramakrishna. For that I need a little bit. And this next time sentence, Swamiji is writing that I know Mother must help me. If she does not, in that case, I shall set her aside and shall proceed forward. This is Swami Vivekananda. She can be dependent on Mother and she can revolt against Mother. That type of thing. Swamiji himself said, what I am is written on my eyebrow. If you can read, it is your good fortune. If you cannot, it is your loss, nothing of mine. So that type of strength Swami Vivekananda had, and with what a mission they started. And second thing about Sri Ramakrishna, his revelations. We know that he has been observing his father worshipping this goddess Sitala, Raghuvi, this Shalogram. All these things he has been watching, his father is worshipping. He had just like any Western this scientific methodology, he applied the same methodology. Is it truth or is it false? If there is any truth, I shall have to realize it. But without judging, without checking, without making experiment, I cannot say downright that it is a false. So I shall have to make some honest attempt, whether it is in this block of stone, whether in this block of image of goddess Kali, there is sincerely something truth inside. So he made a journey and he made experiments after experiments, and he did not stop until he had the real revelation. This is actually, he followed the actual scientific methodology. Once, Boshishen had an interview with Einstein. Boshishen, he was a scientist, but he was the disciple of Raja Maharaj, Swami Brahmananda. And he got initiation and he was inspired to do something for the agriculture of India. So he started an agriculture university at Almora. Even today, if you visit, you will find there that agriculture, Swami Vivekananda Agriculture University is there. Because Boshishen was some scientist, so he had some access or some relation with Einstein. Einstein knew that Boshishen is in touch with this Ramakrishna movement. So one day Einstein put a question to Boshishen that what is your conception, what is your idea about Sri Ramakrishna's realization? Then Boshishen said he followed that same methodology as we take up. Any problem comes, he gives his brain to the problem, he thinks deeply, 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 until the truth is being revealed to him, he cannot stop. That is his methodology. Einstein immediately jumped and said, the same thing happens with me also. Don't think that all this, my principles of theologies, all the things have come up. It is by calculation. Some problem comes in my mind. Then I go on thinking, as for Newton, the apple dropped. It is not that before Newton the apples did not fall. Apples are falling. But the falling of that particular moment of the apple made some star in Newton's mind, and he went on thinking, and the truth was revealed to him. The same methodology Einstein also said, I also do. Some problem comes in my mind. Sometimes I go on thinking for weeks, months, years, something like that. Ultimately, it is in a flash comes to my mind. And the moment that is becoming clear, afterwards I put it into mathematical formula. It is not that by mathematical formula the truth is deduced, but it is the otherwise. The same methodology was taken by Sri Ramakrishna also. He took up this methodology of this experiment and he came to the realization. After his flash of realization, then he gave it in the mathematical formula. That means Dvaita, Vishtadvaita, Advaita, all sorts of sadhanas, these spiritual practices, he demonstrated after his realization. So he would find out that there is truth inside, so I shall have to test the truth in different situations, different forms, different deities. And that is Sri Ramakrishna's journey. Another thing, in the spiritual life, Swamiji has mentioned, it is being and becoming. It is nothing seeing. It is not that the Lord Sri Krishna will come in before me with flute in hand and start dancing. It is not nothing of that sort. It is being and becoming. I shall have to, some internal transformation will come within me. That is spiritual life. And one day, this identical incident I'd like to share with you. Once the Sarvagata Swami was in charge. He and Arnold Toynbee, the famous historian, both were in the same dais. Sarvagata Swami, he first gave some invocation as well as some words of blessing. Afterwards he stopped and said. Then Arnold Toynbee went and he talked about Sri Ramakrishna movement beautifully, and it was really fantastic. When he came, Sarvagata appreciated him. Oh, yes, the innovation is very beautiful. Then Toynbee replied, Swamiji, we can talk, but we cannot be. You are being, but I am not being. I am simply talking. So this is the difference between the spiritual life. Sri Ramakrishna himself, he demonstrated that thing, and he taught the same thing to his brother disciples, his own disciples, and Swami Vivekananda's brother disciples, and to Swami Vivekananda and all others. Now, we have by Guru Maharaj's grace, or by due to our good fortune, or karma bhav, or due to the blessings of our parents, we have been lucky to come in touch with this movement. We are this Christopher Isher, he has used one word, creative minority. Creative minority. This is a minority group, but that minority group is creative. Those who are the followers of Sri Ramakrishna, they are the creative minority. That means by their presence, by their lifestyle, by their movement, by their talk, by their behavior, everywhere they will spell out something and it will have some infectious effect. That means contagious effect. Others also will slowly get indoctrinated. This is the thing that Sri Ramakrishna has mentioned. Now the question comes, this creative minority means what? It is a culture and civilization. Swamiji has mentioned, you remove Christ, Buddha, Ramchandra, Muhammad, Jesus from the pages of history. What would remain about culture and civilization? Just a bunch of groups. So all culture and civilization, whatever we find, that is a section of people who are ardently inspired to follow some methodology or some life principles, and as a result, some culture and civilization emerges. If we find the history of this Reformation movement, this Renaissance movement, or the Christianity movement, or the Catholic movement, everything, they have brought some changes in the mind of the people, and as a result, some culture and civilization has come. So here also, we shall also have to bring a culture and civilization which is emerging out of the devotees of this Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna himself has mentioned, and he has given a very high opinion and strong appreciation about his own devotees. He himself has mentioned in Bengali, at Kashipur he mentioned, afterwards I should give the English wording. Ekhane jara ashe keo samsari noy. Whosoever comes in touch with Sri Ramakrishna, nobody is worldly minded. Certainly, they have some higher purpose of life. They cannot be satisfied with the only worldly things. So that is there. So a new culture, a new civilization is going to emerge. Once instead of culture, Rubaikov, he was the Russian professor of histology and Moscow. he went and he was invited to give a talk in our Institute of Culture, Kolkata. There he mentioned about this culture. And what do we mean by this word culture? Culture, by the word culture, that means some sort of table manners, some method of talking. This is also high society and all this. But if that means culture, he said, I like to place before you two characters. Now you say whether these two characters are cultured or not. One is the character of Holy Mother, and another is the character of Latu Maharaj. Latu Maharaj was a shepherd boy, where we are seeing his song. He was a shepherd boy, but he went up to this Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Latu Maharaj. Will you call him cultured? Shepherd boy, he could not utter a single sentence completely. He did not know anything, your religion, philosophy, nothing, but he had the life and he had only God realization. This is, and another is Holy Mother. She also, some from rural Bengal, widow, she don't have anything in, no formal knowledge, no education, but she became the empress of the whole Ramakrishna movement. She became. Why and how? So this is called culture, this is called civilization. So they, another person I remember, some of you, those who have read this book, Advanced History of India, written by R.C. Majumdar. I had the opportunity to attend to one of his classes. There he was mentioning about this Ramakrishna mission. This Ramakrishna mission, it is some peculiar organization. They make very humble beginning, but ultimately they make a gigantic manifestation. So what they will do, suppose one Swami comes in, what he will do, he will come with a small, this case, and in that probably 5-6 books are there. And one small box, some homeopathy medicines are there. And with that, and one probably this paper box on which he will put the pictures of Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother and Swamiji. That will be the humble beginning. And slowly, it will be gradually transformed, and ultimately it will, this homeopathy box, it will become a big hospital. The books will take the form of some cultural institute, big, has so many libraries, discourses and other things will be going on, and this packing box on which all the pictures of Guru Maharaj will be there, that is going to be burned into a big universal temple. This is this Sri Ramakrishna movement. But it goes very slowly, silently, without making any fuss in the society. About at what time I will finish it? That's the point. We know that Sri Krishna, his main disciple was Narendranath. But about Narendranath, when he came full. It was not that he was a beggar, because he had a spiritual exaltation from the very beginning. While he used to sleep, at that time he used to go into samadhi. And from his childhood, he used to go into samadhi because every night while sleeping, he used to find that some bright jyoti that was there in his eyebrow. He felt that probably each and every one sleeps in that way. And that used to burst and he used to go into it. And that was his regular sleep. So that man, and being mastered with this Western philosophy, science, technology, all the things, civilization, culture, everything, and being brought up in that sort of education. When he came to Sri Ramakrishna, he was already mature. Sri Ramakrishna himself said, it is very interesting thing that probably this is for the first time in the spiritual history we are hearing this sort of utterance. Sri Ramakrishna said, Ma, okay, Maya Baddha Karo. The Guru is praying to God to put this disciple into bondage. Disciple into bondage, he is. Why? If he is not put into bondage, then in that case, my mission is going to be null and void. That will not fructify. So that was the standard of Narendranath. And in the Puthi, where there he has mentioned, Prabhur Adhika Shakti Yahar Bhitare. That means his power was more than Sri Ramakrishna. His power was more than Sri Ramakrishna. Why? Because he had to manifest it. So Sri Ramakrishna walked through Narendranath. And they, both of them, is to feel that inseparably connected. Inseparably they were connected. Sri Vivekananda never thought Sri Ramakrishna as his own God or something like that. Though he said, I have no doubt that he is the father of the gods. But at the simultaneously, when in his apparent worldly relation, his relation with Sri Ramakrishna was otherwise. What it was, let me again refer one incident from Nivedita. You know that Nivedita was running the school and there was financial crunch because she had to just maintain herself and take the responsibility of school students, the salary and other expenses, everything. So financial crunch was there. One day they approached Vivekananda and told him that this has been the problem. And along with it, the problem was intensified because Nivedita's sister, who was looking after their family, she decided to marry. So the income of the family will go down. So Nivedita was feeling some sort of pricking in conscience that who would look after my mother? And still my brother is there. So who would attend there? So in this way, Nivedita was in bit confusion and went to Vivekananda for discussion and decision. Swamiji, when he heard from Nivedita's plight, he felt probably mother does not like that this work should be done. So, but you don't approach MacLeod or Olive Bull for your this suffering. You don't ventilate. Let, by God's grace, whatever to be happen, let it happen. Nivedita did not stop there. Nivedita said, you approach Sri Ramakrishna for the maintenance of your own family. So Sri Ramakrishna just acceded to your request. So why not you again approach Sri Ramakrishna for my school and for my family? Then what was the reply from Narayana? Vivekananda replied, I cannot approach Sri Ramakrishna for any support. Why not? Because I look at him as my own baby. Because Sri Ramakrishna in the form of the baby brought me down. So now I have understood who Sri Ramakrishna was. So I cannot approach him for this thing. So that was their beautiful relation. If we go through the lifestyle, we will find that Swami Vivekananda is busy in the construction of a temple for Sri Ramakrishna. But the Holy Mother, she is busy not for the temple or for Sri Ramakrishna, but she is busy for the construction of a monastery where these children of Sri Ramakrishna can have their proper shelter, proper food and proper protection. That was the approach. In this way, both these two personalities, Sri Ramakrishna, one thought, he prepared, cultivated some thought force. Vivekananda became the carrier, and Holy Mother, she demonstrated through her whole life all the thoughts, all the ideas, all the principles Sri Ramakrishna practiced and demonstrated. In this way, this organization has come up. Probably you may remember one incident happened when this first organization was started. At that time, Atmaram, that means the relics of Sri Ramakrishna, it was worshipped when the land was newly purchased there. Swami Vivekananda himself carried it on his shoulders and put it there. Their puja was done, and afterwards the relics again is to be brought back to the main building. When it is to be brought back, at that time, Narendra said, Vivekananda said, I have brought it, but I cannot carry it again back. So he asked Sharatchandra Chakravarti, who was by his side, the householder devotee, you take it back. So that shows the responsibility of carrying the relics of Sri Ramakrishna is the joint responsibility of the monastics as well as the householder. And if we go through the lifestyle in the Kashipur and its follow-ups, then we will find that there's both the two groups, these householders as well as the monastics, jointly one is the just supplement of the other. They are taking care of the householders and the householders are taking care of these monastics. In this way, this organization has come up. So now I will try to bring it from there, because how to this stress, I would like to cite one or two incidents. First, because Nivedita herself said that I want to become an empty channel. That means total surrendering to God. This is the most important methodology. That is total surrendering to God. Whatever comes in my life, I shall have to accept it in that right spirit, in a positive approach, without any gambling. So I want to make myself an empty channel, without having an iota of ego. One gentleman, he was in Canada, Mr. Paul. He used to write us to ask different spiritual queries. And we also used to reply to him through email correspondence and so going on. For 6 months this correspondence was going on. We could find that all of a sudden that gentleman stopped making any correspondence. Being curious, we sent one letter. What has happened? Why you have stopped making correspondence? Then his reply, one bishop has presented me a book. After going through that book, I find all my queries as follows. Do you want to know the name of the book? The Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. This is the fantastic book. One of my drivers, I remember, one day I gave him a book, this Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. He said, Maharaj, this is probably the first time I am reading a book which needs no teacher. This Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna is such a fantastic book. Anyone can go through it and he will find something inside. Once I had the fortune to serve one disciple of Holy Mother, Rameshananda Maharaj. And for 10 years I served him. He was in the habit of taking daily Ganges water and Mahaprasad. Mahaprasad means the dried rice offered to Jagannath. So that one piece, small piece of rice and a little bit of Ganges water. That was the ritual. When he became invalid, I also had to do something. So in the regularly, I don't give him that thing. One day, all of a sudden, almost in the fag end, one day, I asked him, Maharaj, at that time he became blind. So I told him, Maharaj, open your mouth. I shall now put the Ganges water and the Mahaprasad, Jagannath. First he went silent, he did not open. Then second time I repeated. This time also he did not open. The third time I repeated. Then he said, why should I take Gangajal? I said, if you are in the practice habit of taking Gangajal daily, why you not take? No, I need not take any Gangajal. Well, I have got something holier than that. I said, what is that? Well, that is this Ramakrishna name. I am having this Ramakrishna name. So that is holier than this Ganges. I don't want to take the Ganges. This is the thing. And now I would like to share, and this will be my last thing. Share another incident. This incident happened in Sapalo. Sapalo, when he is our president, center's president is a master member, the vice president is a lay member. The vice president is a cardiac surgeon, but famous in Brazil. So that gentleman, he wanted to have a talk, because at that time I was general secretary, so he had to take some interpreter, because he did not talk in English and I did not know his Spanish probably, Spanish or Portuguese. I did not know. So he had to have interpreters, so he made some official talk. After finishing that, informal talk started. I said, how many children do you have? He said, just a little halting, and then said, I have got 3. Then what are they doing? My eldest son, he has also become a good doctor, and he is working in America, United States. He is running nicely. He has his own family. My second son, he is also equally all right. He is chartered accountant. He is in Brazil itself, and I have no problem with that. But I have some problem with my third son. Being curious, I said, what has happened? Say, my third son is still limping. It is not yet just steady. I thought that probably he had some physical paralytic or something. Then I said, wait, who is your third son? What has happened? No, my third son is my ashram. His ashram is my third son. I am worried about it. And so this is the thing, this identification with the culture, identification with the movement, this is the actual thing is required. I will finish with another quotation. I started with the first sentence, Sri Ramakrishna's sentence, that whosoever, those who are there, you please come, I want to communicate my things to you, and I will say that this also was some favorite and common practice from Sri Ramakrishna through Sri Ramakrishna's lips, that is Abar Esho. That means to come again. That means those of you are in touch here, don't leave it, don't forget it, please again be in touch with these people outside. Thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj. Because of the special occasion of Swami Vivekananda's anniversary of Mahasmati, we can sing O Hero, Danny Boy.
Sorry.
Page 16 in the before we have to change the program slightly because representative has to go now, ambassador or representative. So there are some things in the corner. Packages. Before you go, I would like to present this to the ambassador. Okay, you can carry it for her on our behalf. So it's the Celtic lioness there, yeah, a poem written and dedicated to her for today. Okay, thank you. All right. So, thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji.
All right.
I will say
Yes. Okay. Good.
thank you.
All right. So, the chair is available. Anita.
On rocky mother's foot bivouac stand, with master beckoning across the sea, our sore and urged to offer willing hands. He armed himself with thoughts that learned to be. Oh, hero strong. not until the goal is duly reached. Let mankind join harmonious chorus loud. Your thoughts around and purpose widely reach, and love of all displaces darkest cloud. All flowing rivers and their streams will meet within the vast and boundless sea. This offer tribute laid at heroes' holy feet, strong, full, and wise, and always truly free.
Jaya Jaya.
Jaya 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 Janani Jaya Shri Sharadamani Jaya Janani Jaya Shri Sharadamani Karuna Rupini Jaya Ma Karuna Rupini Jaya Ma Adya Shanti Parama Prakriti Adya Shanti Parama Prakriti Ashara Vishnu Priyama Yoga Vandita Shura Nara Shevita Yoga Deva Vandita Shura Nara Shevita Namo Narayani Ma Namo Narayani Ma Jaya Jaya Janani Jaya Shri Sharanamani Karuna Rupini Jaya Ma
So, I'd like to ask Professor Siddhartha to give a vote of thanks.
Okay, so this is a very special occasion. First of all, we had the opportunity to welcome Swami Suhitananda and Swami Tatsvarananda. And Swami Suhitananda, representing the Ramakrishna Mission and Mott, is here to tell us that this Eire Vedanta Society is on its way to becoming a recognized center, Vedanta center of the mission. And this is a great honor, it's a great responsibility, and it is a way in which suddenly the whole involvement gets revitalized. There are lots of people who are involved, but with this step, I can imagine that there will be more people coming along, and that the system will move to new premises, hopefully soon, where more people can come, and the various activities which are at the present moment in the realms of dreams and realms of vision, they will start happening. So again, I'd like to thank everyone who's been helpful for so long, and it's been a long journey, and we know that Swami Pundananda has worked extremely hard to keep the whole thing going and to energize everyone by his work and by dedication. And so, thank you again, Swami Suhitananda, and we hope that your trip tomorrow to Dungannon will be very pleasant, and you will see for yourself the way in which the memory of Nivedita is nurtured and looked after in that part of this country. Thank you very much.
Right. Oh. So, Maharaj, I know your luggage is probably full. But anyhow, this is just a small token from us. I should tell you it's made from Irish peat, and there's a Celtic cross. And then, I don't know if your luggage permits this, but if it does, then this is also a card to you, thanking you, with an Irish blessing on it. This is the Constitution of Ireland, also in the same material. Yes. Yeah. So, good.
Blessings from you.
So that's right. Then just finally, thank you very much. You want one more song to finish up, or? Yeah? Okay. What do you want to sing?
What do you think?
Cabby Rama Mamake? Or do you want to make a paddle?
You know this little light of mine.
Oh, okay.
This little light of mine. And when the children sing along to this,
Oh, yeah.
it's called This Little Light of Mine. I'm going to let it
Sorry.
Okay, especially for the children.
Actually, all the children.
All the children, all the children. Right, go children. Children, children.
The second part is deep within my heart, I'm going to let it shine. The third one is all around the world, I'm going to let it shine. And the fourth one is a bit of fun. Hide this light of mine, oh no, I'm going to let it shine. Okay, so we begin with this little light. Shine, shine, shine. All together.